The unusual creatures of my suburbia. You know what? Let me just flat out say it. During my jogging days, I was an unusual creature. I don't know what got into me, but I would jog after midnight, and I liked it. It was great. My jogging route approached 10 miles or so. I ran by my current gym, for which I was a little bit too large at the time, and it took me to a nearby park entrance, though as it was dark, I never went in. Plus, it was a pretty shoddy entrance, as you had to bushwhack down a muddy hill to get there. I ran that route for long enough to start worrying about my knees, as I was still pretty heavy. And I had to rustle some jimmies, I gotta tell you, as my route took me through some quiet neighborhoods at night. I preferred sidewalks over huffing and puffing on the side of the road, and people surely noticed that I was there, a glistening plump-kin sucking their oxygen at 3:30 a.m. And prior to that, as I was working on my endurance, I myself had a pretty scary encounter, and with by far the most marvelous and mysterious suburban creature, who also frightened me the most, as I thought it was a mutant rat. And knowing how fast mice are, if you scale that up, especially with a mutant, the rat would have been done chewing up my groceries and probably bottoms of my pants before I knew it. I feel I literally had a Ninja Turtle moment. I kid you not. Master Splinter, is that you? But it turned out that I was just dumb, and it was a wise and noble opossum who without a doubt lived a very long life. We looked at each other with a measure of respect. He was curious what the hell I was doing shopping so late. Sports, my man. It was sports. Just as scary is the skunk, because they are cute as heck and look like kittens. But oh my gosh, it's a little known fact that the early Michiganders would carry pet skunks around to serve them as a low-tech but extremely effective bear spray. Just ever so gently lift the fluffy tail and don't point the hole at things you want to keep. There's actually a local saying that goes, "Don't bring a gun to a skunk shootout." Indeed. And on top of that, many of the early high schools in the area taught our grandparents how to squirt a skunk. And you know what? It shows. The fourth strange creature is also me again, as I try to outstrange strange situations. Now, this is one of those you had to be there for it to be funny. But I just see strangeness as an invitation to try to be stranger. So there I was, bewildered by the now liminal space that the local supermarket parking lot has become, as I have just realized it was another one of those shut the town down and let programmers starve holidays. And all of a sudden, and with one of my legs already in the car, a well-dressed man pulled up. He was absolutely a lawyer. The glasses and suspenders, the whole enchilada bespoke a lawyer. And he goes, "Do you know where I can find a liquor store?" I blinked at him while trying to compute the last time I saw a bottle of vodka. Do supermarkets even sell them anymore? I don't remember seeing any at the local supermarket. So I told him, it's no good for you. And he goes, but do you know where I can find one? And I replied, somewhat mischievously, that there aren't any liquor stores in the area because it's just a nice and wholesome neighborhood. As he walked away with a strange smile, probably to grab his gun, my stomach grumbled, and I swiftly drove away in search for some gas station peanuts. I dare say both of us were a little strange, but I was the winner here. I left the best, or something a little bit better, for last. It was another day in the same parking lot, though some years down the road. After an hour or so at the gym, I went to get some bicycle parts and probably peanuts, though never enough. Even if you don't have an enormous butt, a wide seat goes a long way, especially in full-day endurance bicycling that calls for peanuts. As I am walking into the store with my muscles aching a little bit and trying to shake it all off, I noticed the strangest freaking sound I have ever heard a grown-ass man make. He was parked at a 45-degree angle, in the middle of a street, almost blocking traffic, certainly annoying the passers-by, making the following sound, and I apologize ahead of time, but you have got to hear this. This really happened. And it went on for entire seconds before I noticed that there was something strange going on behind me. So I turn around to face the sound, and holy guacamole, and this makes me speechless to this day, he was making that sound at me. You are not going to believe this, but he was heckling me. I had, maybe still have, a heckler. That sound was a heckle, or a series of heckles. And to another surprise at the time, he abruptly stopped making that sound and revealed that he is not in fact touched or special, by loudly and clearly stating in front of what has now become a group of 23 people,
"He is walking like a bodybuilder, but he is not a bodybuilder."
I took a moment to just broadly examine all the commotion that my waddle caused, and quickly hurried to the store as that noise resumed to heckle me some more. And I'm not making this up. This really happened. And as a bonus, I wanted to add that as I was writing this story, a skunk went off somewhere near in the neighborhood. I grew up around seriously gassy horses and angry chickens that wanted to peck me dead, so I didn't know what skunks smelled like until I was in my late teens. For those of you in distant lands that never smelled one, it smells like soft and fresh tire rubber dipped in the most sugary cherry chocolate syrup that you can possibly imagine. It is not an edible smell, as the rubber comes across as chemical, but it doesn't seem like a dangerous smell from afar. And I think you can really smell a skunk marking territory or searching for a lady from miles away. especially downwind. The smell just kind of travels, or at least so it seems. Maybe there's just so many of them out there. Now, as the skunk gets closer, what I think happens is that a burning sensation of spicy pepper and worse joins in the bouquet and actually gets in your nose. I'm only guessing from what I smelled across the years, but I expect more offending smells joining in and getting spicier and spicier the closer you are. In America, some skunks, presumably ones that aren't afraid of humans or rely on them too much and wouldn't do so well in the woods, can have a procedure done that removes their smelliness, and they just become a lovely and no doubt loving weird cat. I don't know who wins the most unusual suburban creature award, but let me tell you something. I now have to close the windows in my house. If this is part of some skunk mating ritual that I smell, then surely all the skunk ladies in the area got his disgusting message.